Hello everyone. I have shared you a video regarding creative writing, and here I thought of sharing with you some of my short stories. Actually, these short stories are in very simple language, and these short stories I have written during my A-level time. There is like most of these stories based on one incident or one sentence. So that sentence is developed into a story. So you can go through them, and I have uploaded these things on my website. In case if you cannot get the exact story from the website, I'm here presenting you those stories, so you can see it here. Like this. So I would like to read one of the stories, or maybe two. Let's see. Uh, so the sentence for this story is here it appears not to consider me as an unkind one. That is the sentence. So I have given a title as well for the story, Dancing Queen. So let's see how the story is. It was the end of the Ideal Dancer TV program. The presenter thanked the guest. Thank you very much, Miss Priyanka, for joining with us. We wish that you perform your dancing items well. I would like to ask your phone number because most of our viewers are waiting to talk with you. They might have a lot of things to ask from you about your dancing styles. I gave my phone number and thanked them all. Then I thank out of the uh, then I came out of the studio and get onto my car. As I was tired, I asked my driver to take me home without us stopping anywhere. Then, when I was going, I heard my phone rang. A woman spoke to me. Hello, is this Miss Priyanka? As it was an unknown voice, I replied curiously. Then the woman spoke further. She told that she was a psychiatric at GGR Mental Hospital and she had something important to tell me. But she repeatedly told me that she didn't mean to insult me and she asked me not to misunderstand her. Then I felt more curious and I listened anxiously. Then she told me that in their mental asylum, they allow some of their patients to watch some musical and dancing programs on TV, and today they had seen my program. But one of the patients who suffered from a severe mental stress cried a lot after having seen the program. She shouted that Miss Priyanka was her one and only child. Her words shook me, and at once I asked the name of the patient. She is Mrs. Radhika Fernando. Miss, I don't know whether Mrs. Radhika knows you or not, but if you know about her, please visit her. She is not strong enough to bear up the things that have happened to her. She is in a serious situation and now she is so old and feeble. Her husband visits her every day. Once he told me that their daughter committed suicide, and after that incident, his wife had lost her sanity. She continued. Furthermore, she said that perhaps their daughter might be like me, so she pleaded me to visit the patient though I was busy with my work. And it would be a good treatment for the patient. Then I promised to think about it further. After that phone call, tears began to pour down my cheeks. Then my mind ran back to the time of my childhood. 10 years ago, my parents and I lived together. I was the only child of my family. I loved my parents a lot, but I knew that they loved me more than I loved them. They wanted to give me a good education. My father's dream was to see me as a doctor. He always told me, my little girl, my little daughter, you should do your studies well and try to be a doctor one day, and surprised all our friends and relations. But according to my way of thinking, I didn't accept my father's idea. I always dreamed to be a good dancer one day, though my father didn't agree with me. All the time he said that he couldn't be ashamed in front of his relatives. My mother too agreed with my father. Time ran quickly and my parents forced me to do advanced level examination in sciences stream. However, I did my studies without any will, but my parents thought that I would pass my examination very well. They took me to many private classes and I spent a lot of money, though I found all subjects equally difficult. I did my examination and awaited results. In the meantime, I told my father to take me to a dancing class, but he paid no attention to my request. My results came. I had only three simple passes. I feel nothing about my results. My parents were sad and they were disappointed about me because their loving child had destroyed their wonderful dream. So the hunk between me and my parents grew weaker day by day. Then I felt sad and also felt disappointed about myself. My father didn't speak to me. We behaved as strangers even though we lived under one roof. I was unable to face the situation at my home. Finally, I left my loving cage with the idea of building up my life by myself. I came out of my thoughts. My face was wet with tears. Through my tears, I saw the gate of my house. I went to my room and began to think. During the last 5 years, I searched my parents, but I could find only that my father had sold our house and had gone somewhere with my mother. Now everything is clear to me. I decided to go to that asylum next day. The following morning, I got ready to go. My car stopped at the asylum gate. Everyone looked at me surprisingly and came round me. Through them, I saw a tall young lady was coming towards me. Hi, Miss Priyanka, I'm Dr. Shweta. It is me who phoned you yesterday. I never thought that you would come. Then she took me to see the patient. We went to her room. She pointed her hand at a patient who was lying on a bed. There was a man in front of her. I told the doctor that I wanted to go alone and talk with them. I found very quickly that the old thin man was sitting there was my father and the patient was my mother. I went to speak with them. Oh, are you Miss Priyanka? The man asked surprisingly. I just nodded my head. My wife thinks that you are our daughter. She cries when she sees you on TV. I looked at him with a blank face. Then I asked their story. He began to sob and said that because of their faults, they lost their daughter. Then I asked whether they knew where their daughter was. No, miss, perhaps she might have died. It is our fate, but when you speak with me, I felt that my daughter is again with me. I was unable to control myself. I began to weep. No, father, you are not wrong. Your little daughter is still with you. Can't you recognize me? Do I have changed a lot? Then who is Miss Priyanka? He questioned. It's a long story. I changed my name. At that time, my mother woke up and looked at me with tears on her face. She began to touch my hands, my face. I promised her not to leave her again and asked their pardon for what had happened and asked them not to consider me as an unkind one. So, here is a sample story. You can go through this and see how the dialogues and all. And I will soon share another video with another short story that I have written. So, yes, you can go through this and can have an idea, even if you would like to write a story when like you can expand this sentence. When you hear my story, do not consider me as an unkind one. So take that as your sentence and develop it into a story, a short story, something interesting, something that gives a message with few characters. You have to arrange it, you have to build it up. So that's all. Okay, see you once again with another video.